Daf mem alaf amad alaf. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakim leim b'dvarim.
By the Mishnah,
Mm-hmm.
the second one.
Yeah. Hamechem shepinu. Hamechem is a pot, maybe a chinik, a pot for hot water. Hamechem shepinu, a hot pot. Lo yitem l'teichetzenu b'shul sheicham. You're not allowed to put cold water to warm it up. You could put inside oil in order to make it lukewarm, not hot.
Don't put cold water inside.
Sometimes yeah, sometimes not.
That's the hot pot.
Hot
Huh?
water.
Hot water?
Yeah.
Sure.
Everything is that Rashi says. Kula masnisa mefarish b'gemara.
Okay.
Gemara, the Mishnah is such an enigma that Rashi is not even going to try. Learn the Gemara, Zok Rashi. Zok the Gemara, my Kamar. What is the Mishnah saying? Rashi is my Pino, my Loyitin. Vodama Yeno is saying. What's the Yenois and what's the not noise and what's going on over here? Omer Abada Baramasno. Chachikam. This is what we're saying. Meichem shepinim imenem mayim chamin lo yitan latoicha mayim otim k'dei sheyechamu. If there's a pot that was on the fire and you took all the water out of it, so now
Water hot.
the water is still hot. See if you're going to put a little bit of water, you're not allowed to. You're allowed to put a lot of water to make it lukewarm.
What kind of water you putting inside? Obviously cold.
Yeah, cold water.
But if you put little,
So-
it's gonna get hot.
A little is going to get hot, and a lot is just going to get warm, so you're not cooking. Somebody trying to hold that really this is a klidishin. What's the difference if there's water in there and not water in there? It's a klidish. Other Rishonim hold no. It's a downgraded klidishin. The fact that the water was poured out.
That's how much half you put out the water using the pot. If it's right away, it's still boiling hot. If you wait a minute or two, it's somewhat cooled down.
Right? The Stama, we're talking about that he didn't wait a minute or two. And even so, we're saying, if you put a lot of water or a little water. Zog the Gemara, turn the page. V'aloi mitzadef. L'choyre is being mitzadef. Mitzadef is a malacha. Rashi says, "Shekli matoches cham nois latoche tzoinen mechaske mesakli v'zui gemar malachas atzorfin shereticha saor mefafosu v'korev li'ishaber v'amayim mefafin pipuav." That when the blacksmith is making a keli, he makes it red hot, and the keli is easily could melt, easily could fall apart. So the last thing that he does is he puts it into cold water. The cold water is machazik the kli. What's the malachim? That's shayla. Maybe it's makeh b'patish.
Should talk about a neat clean house. Not a whole.
Oh. So the Gemara says no, that even an old kli, and even when there was water in it, but it's a shayach that it was very, very hot, and the pot was starting to melt, and now that he put cold water inside, which maybe is makeh patish.
Is that the intention? But then we just keep warm, hotter than before.
Oh, so the Gemara, the Pshimini, Dava Shenim Eskavim Mutter. It's a Pshimin, it's a Dava Shenim Eskavim, it's Mutter. And like there's a long tois, and there's also Sugi and Yuma about the Kain Godel, the Shosh Shel Barzel, very complicated long Sugi. Bottom line is, tois says obviously it can't be that it's Bavadai Mitzarif. It has to be that it's not a psikidation. It can't be there's a psikidation involved there. There's other biyurim. Some Rishonim hold that by the malacha of Makah Bepatush, if it's not Miskaven, it's not a malacha. So usually we say Psikresha, but here it's not shaykh to say Psikresha, not Psikresha. It's Bachal not a malacha if it's not Miskaven. Okay. Zog the Gemara Maske Fla Abaya asked, Midi Mechem Shapina Mimene Mayim Ketoni. Did it say that it's a Mechem Shapina Mimene Mayim? Mechem Shapinu Huktoni. It says the Mechem that he took the Mechem. It didn't say he took the water out. He took the Mechem out of the fire.
What's the maker?
The pot. When it says Mechem Shapinuhu with the Hevav, Pinuhu means that you move the pot, not that you move the water.
Not the contents.
Right. Elam Rabbi Hochikoma. The Pshat in the Mishnah like this: Hamechem Shapinuhu, the Mechem that he took off the fire. He took it off the fire. V'yesh by mayim, there's water in it. Lo yitol teichem mayim autumn is not allowed to put a little bit of water. Kedei lav shiran. I'm sorry. Bishvil shiachamo. Aval nois lo teichem mayim merum kedei lav shiran. You can't put a little water because if little water gets cooked, you can put a lot of water because it's only going to be mafshel. Meichem shepinu mimanu mayim. But a meichem that you took the water out of it, the Mishnah is not even talking about that. Because if that was the case, then for sure the Mishnah would say, Lo yitin l'toichamayim kolikir, you're not allowed to even put one drop of water here. If you're being mitzad of the keli.
What about a thermos? Very metal thermos, very hot, and you pour out water, and you pour more water, like cold water inside the thermos. Does that mean it's say this, sir?
No, because that's a cliché.
But it's piping hot. Water that you took out of the thermos. You want to put a little bit of cold water. So to get that water hot or warm. Does that mean say this issue?
Probably be mutter, because it's a cliché. And the dof, we never see such a chiddush that the faunus of in a cliché itself, if it's mavashel or not, is a discussion. And the Alter Rebbe holds that all liquids don't cook in a cliché. But here, probably these defonas should be considered a cliché, but it's not for sure. Let's learn the sugya till the end with Ambati, and then we'll talk about it. Zog the Gemara for the Yehudi, and why you not allowed to put any water if there's a mechem that he took out all the water? You consider Yehudi, also. Which is funny that Abaya should make the Mishnah like Rabbi Yehuda, because if the halach is not like Rabbi Yehuda, we pass most men pass like Rabbi Shimon, Therefore, a lot of the Rishonim say that the halach is really like Rabbi Ada anyway, because Rabbi is only saying that he likes the pshat in our Mishnah better because of the wording, but he makes it according to Rabbi Yehuda, which halach is anyway not like Rabbi Yehuda. So therefore, also Rishonim go with Rabbi Ada anyway. Okay. Zog the Gemara, Amarav lo shanu ela lahavshir. And our Mishnah was only talking about to be mafshir, put water latzarif, to put water to be mitzarif, also. Shmuel mafil latzarif nami muter. Zog the Gemara latzarif lachatchila mishori. Is a person allowed to be mitzarif akeli? It's one of the lamatas malachas. What are you talking about? What kind of languages? Latzarif muter. If there was a machlokes, this is the way we have to say it. Amar Rav lo yishana l'shir lahavshir. Aval shir l'tzarif also. Rashi says that the Rav and Shmuel are both going like Rav Ada, which Rav Ada be'emes makes sense to go like Rav Ada because Rav Ada taishain the Mishnah lehilchasa that it's an empty pot, and if he's going to put a shir l'tzarif, is also Shmuel mafir shir l'tzarif muter, that you're allowed to put shir l'tzarif. Why? Because he passing us like Reb Shimon, that the Hashem is kaven. Let's read the Rashi. Shekinu mashum pino la'atzam alahoir, l'tzarif shekinu menacham. Ochit malashon the pino sharlos l'teichitzayna. El shir la'avshav alo l'tzarif kigoyin shalom milu kula v'rav mashma l'pino kiref ada shekinu menacham. Fil shir l'tzarif shmilu kula. Let's learn the bottom toises. There is there's a big fat toisvis, Loshana Lahafshir, but the small toisvis in the bottom is really a sikkim of that big long toisvis.
Yeah, right on.
That small is the small
Loshana
letters. Yeah. It's like extra small letters in the bottom of it.
That belongs to the person?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really sort of a kitsit of this whole long toisvis. Piddush HaKuntra is the Rav Mashmalei Masnisim Pinu Kirab Ada. But Rashi says that Rav and Shmuel are both talking according to the Bada. Shepinu and Amayim. They took out all the water. V'shir lahavshik means shaloi milo. Kashir letzarav kashemilu. So let me just explain Shittas Rashi. We're going to get there's a Geshmak at Tzemach Tzedek on this, and it's going to be Tzemach Tzedek is definitely going to be very negay la'aloka about a klisheni and making tea and coffee bisman hazeh. But I'm not going to get to Tzemach Tzedek right now. First, let's understand Rashi Shittas in the Rebbe. So Rav says like this: there's if you put a little bit of water, you empty the pot. A klidishin, you took out all the water. He puts a little bit, say a third of water. I'm just giving numbers, amount. A third. It's also because you're machamim the mind. If you put 2/3, it's mutter because the water is not going to get hot. It's only going to be lukewarm. But if you put water to the tippy top, that's already mitzaref. And the Yeshua is a little moist of salt and pepper to Rashi. Why to the tippy top? He said, "B'chlal, it's hard to imagine that you're being mitzaref hakeli. It's not in the blacksmith shop. It's in my house, and I have water in here right now. Why would you think that this pot should start melting? When was the last time that you were cooking supper and all of a sudden the pot itself started to melt?
Our pots are already finished.
Yeah, our pots are the. So therefore, he says it's only the top of the pot. Sometimes, again, their pots maybe that gets a little bit nisroifef because so much heat. So if you fill it up water to the tippy top, then there's Kemeneden. Maybe he's being mitzaref, maybe not, and there's a machlaikas, davashim miskaven, davashayim miskaven, yeah, nish l'kula l'chumra.
But if you put it all on the top, take longer time to warm up. With less
Again,
water.
if you put a little water, you're cooking it, it's getting hot. If you put 2/3 of water, it's no big deal. It's all cool. But you fill it up all 3/3 to the tippy top. So now the water is taka cold, but the pot, which was about to fall apart, is now mischazik. And that's Melechus Tzorif. That's like Makam.
Next time you cook it, let's flow. So
Whatever. That's the way Rashi's learning. Tosfos says V'kosher. I don't understand. When the Gemara said before Aloy Metzaref, that a person is Metzaref, why doesn't the Gemara answer Shalom Milu? It can answer Tosfos Kasha in a few ways. It's some of the Mishnah. Voy mekrama rabaya vel mechem shpinat manamayim leitla technik kolikir neshu mitzaref mashma v'cholon yinu mitzaref v'filu lo milo. Okay, that's a bayish shita. We go like Rebada. Anyway, Tosfos says yishlam l'mashma like b'no kabaya rove Rabbi Shmuel both going according to Abaya v'kama loishan l'shir l'afshir that he took the pot off the fire with the water. That he took the pot off with the water. If you put a little bit of water, it's cooked. If you put a lot of water, the water is cold, but the pot but not because you're meloy till the top. Okay. Let's go back in the Gemara. You see the Gemara? The last line. Now we're going on the other side. Daf Mem Beis Amud Aleph. L'meimre de Shmuel Kirib Shimon Svira Lei. Are you going to tell me that Shmuel holds like Kirib Shimon? Because that's what he just said. That we're not worried about Mitzara. Don't worry. Other like Rashi, other like Tosfos. He's not worried about the cold water being Mitzara to Klibik. So then don't worry. It's mutter. Maybe the Shmuel Kirib Shimon Svira Lei. Shmuel said, Machaben Gachel Shalom Mateches B'Rishus Aram Mishul Shizuka V'Rabim. If he has like a Chel Shemateches and Rishus Rabim, he's allowed to be Machabit. Rashi says Shemashlichim L'chutz Pseil Shel Barzel L'Shech Kibbeh Ba'achim D'Raisa. Rashi holds that there's no Kibbeh D'Raisa in Barzel. So therefore, you're allowed to be machabed this gechelos because it's a nezik derabim, and chachamim were makel on a shmutz. Avaloy gechelos shalaitz. Rashi says the surah diraisa v'chayv steal a skila. You're not allowed to do it in order to lo yizuk beram. This alter sover like Shimon. If he held like Shimon, avila shalaitz nami. Even if no wooden gechelos, you should be able to be machabed. Because it says that it's that any malacha, if it's ain't tzirich lagufa, it's only also the rabbanon, and if he's putting out the fire on the eights, shaloizuka b'larabim, that's a malacha tzirich lagufa. Zog the Gemara, davar she'enim miskaven, so look at Shimon takazoi, and that's mostly the way we pass in taka. Davar she'enim miskaven, we're making like Shimon, malacha she'enim tzirich lagufa. Savalo ke Rabbi Yehuda. Not we pass. I'm sorry. The Rambam Taka paskins this way. That Malach Shen Tzerich Legufa is lechumre, like Rabbi Yehuda.
What case would be page 72 in this case?
That any time he's putting out a fire in order shelo yizuku barabim is ena tzerich legufa. He doesn't need the fire. He wants shelo yizuku barabim. Amar Ravina said Hilke. Bottom line is that Ravina is a new din based on this thing that l'chulei alma any issa that Rabbanan you're allowed to do shelo yizuka b'irabim koitz b'rishus harabim alichet pachas medal adamas. If there is a koitz and a rishus harabim, the people chas v'shalom could trip and hurt themselves on the koitz. Yeah, thorns. So you're allowed to carry pachas medal adamas b'rishus harabim. Why? Because it's only issa that Rabbanan and kadesh shelo yizuka b'irabim we were matter issa that Rabbanan. Well, the carnival is a filatuvim. If it's a carnival, you're allowed to carry it even a lot. I don't want to tell too much on this a few lines in the Gemara.
What is carrying and what is taking the fire out? Supposed to take the fire.
Just like we said by the fire, that according to Shimon, you could put out any fire because it's a malach according to the view, it depends. If it's a real fire like eights, you're not allowed to. So that ice. But we all agree. But Shimon, we all agree that if you want to do a malach that Rabbanan shleizuka beirabim is mutter. So Ravina said, from here I learned that in. The Lakula Alma, if I see a koitz from Rishus Harabim, I'm allowed to walk less than Daladamas and put it down, and then less than Daladamas put it down, and less than, until I take it away from the oilam. So Shaloi Zuka Burabim. Okay. I don't want to go too much into these halachas because the theme here that we're trying to understand Bishul B'Shabbos, Pladishim, L'Shainik, Bishul Bishul, V'chulu V'chulu. Okay. Aval Noisen, Zog Gemara Ton Rabbanon. I mean, whenever you see a Psadaf, it's so ungeschwollen Toisvis, you know it's a difficult sugi anyway. But I mean, the Beis Yosef, so over the Bach, on the Drish and the Brisha, and the sugya, on this next 10 lines of Gemara, and it's like a few daf. It's like everyone's spinning. But it's important Gemara because it's going to be relevant. It'll be very relevant when it comes to a question that someone asked the last year about a klisheni. Because l'choyda klisheni is not mavash. Klisheni is not mavash. Klidishin is mavash. Klisheni is not mavash. Plain and simple. That's what that's what the next Mishnah. Ayopus Fakadeda, we're going to say that klidishin is
not mavash. Then why do we get klishlishi?
Oh, why do we need a klishlishi? Especially Lubavitches? Why would a Lubavitcher need a klishlishi? Because even if you say that it's something with Yovish is ain't by Bishlach and Bishul, we said that if the Yovish turns into Lach, it is Bishul. That's only in the Klidishin, but not in the Klisheni. And the Alter Rebbe holds that all liquids is like Mayim, and Mayim is Befedish and Shas, that it cooks only Klidishin, not a Klisheni. So who needs a klishlishi when you're making a cup of tea or coffee? Vedafa klishlishi. Why are we always using a klishlishi? So if you hold the chmeif like the Mishnah Berurah, you're not convinced about that Maybe the milk is mekale abishul. Maybe the tea is mekale abishul. Maybe the coffee is mekale abishul. Kale abishul could cook in a klisheni. I'd like to make a new agdora, kal shebekalim, because it's something that was never cooked before. That taka, even eating a klisheni could cook it like kul yisis honest. So just like the poskim called something kale abishul, I'm going to call it kal shebekalim. Something that was never cooked before could be cooked eating a klisheni, but something that was cooked before, it with the regular rules, the klidishin of klisheni. Now, but we say kale abishul. Kale abishul could cook also in. We don't know. Everything besides tavolim turns into kale abishul.
Everything except what?
Tavolim, spices.
Milk.
Oh, but the milk, according to the Alter Rebbe, can't be kale abishul. It's a liquid. The Alter Rebbe says all mashkin is like mine. They don't cook in that klisheni. So really, theoretically, according to the Alter Rebbe, you would never need a kli shlishi here.
Why do
Unless you're cooking something that's kal shebekalim. Kal shebekalim. Something that wasn't cooked before, maybe it's like kulisis bonus. But regular kali abishul, which is something that was already cooked, but you want to cook it a second time, it's a kali abishul. So, but why should it be a klisheni if it's milk is a liquid and sugar is a liquid, really?
like solid?
No, because manavshech. If you're looking at it as a solid, so it was processed by cooking, saying bishlach bishul b'davayavish. And if you're telling me because it melted, it's lach, so any lach, according to Alter Rebbe, doesn't cook in the klisheni. So coffee is the same thing. Coffee is cooked before. So if you're looking at it as a yavish, bishlach bishul even the klidishin. And if you tell me it melts and becomes a lach, or lach doesn't cook in a klisheni. So what's the problem? Why can't the Lubavitchers make a cup of coffee, a cup of tea in a klisheni? The answer is in this few lines that we're going to learn now. And the truth is, according to Alter Rebbe, it probably could. But the answer is here because the Gemara is going to talk about an ambati, which most of the Shainim learn that there's a special chumrah, there's a difference of water that was cooked lishtia and water that was cooked lerechitza. The water that's cooked lerechitza, they cook it, they're much more, it's very hot. And therefore there's a chumrah even in a klisheni. But even in that chumrah, but wissen how far the chumrah goes. It doesn't go that far. But first, let's learn the Gemara, and then we'll understand. But that's really what it is, because we're worried that Bisman Hazeh, for $59.59, you buy yourself a Gazetz machine, you plug it in the wall, and the water could become Zudik Heiss. You can get that water to 220 degrees. So maybe that water should, all whatever Chazal were machmer lerechitza, that were machmer also in a klisheni, should apply to this water, even though I'm drinking it. So there is a svara to say, don't make new chumras for me. Chazal said that water that's l'shtia, there's the regular rules. Klidishin is mavashal, klishen is not mavashal, and klishen is not mavashal again. And even if there's kala bishul, but all liquids out that ever says this can't be kala bishul because they're like water. So klishen is not mavashal. So why can't you make a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and a klisheni? The problem is if you say that if the water that I'm drinking is so hot, it's like an ambati, so then you could have a problem also in a klisheni. That's where the chumrah could come in. Also, yeah, if it's very hot, we'll be machmi even the klisheni. It's very, very hot. We'll be machmi even the klisheni. So
between warm and boiling hot, then there wouldn't be a problem technically going to the Alter Rebbe.
Yeah. Okay, there'll be no problem. Yeah, only because burning hot. Okay, zog the Gemara. Ton Rabon. You could put chamin into the tzon and not the other way around.
Hot in the cold, but not cold in the hot.
Yeah, what is it, Rashi hold? So machloikis here, Rashi and Toys, what's the Pirush Amilas?
So
That-
put the hot water to the milk first.
It depends exactly who's in the bottom. Rashi says, "Kasava tato gover ve'ena chamim artichim satoin and alma fshidon lotzeno techam shaktoin artichim salyanim tato gover." We say tato gover. So if you're going to pour even if it's, let's say, Ida Miklidishin, Lamanda Omar, that Ida Miklidishin is like a Klidishin. So, but if the bottom is Tzoinen, no problem. If the bottom is Tzoinen, no problem. That could help us out a lot, you know. Some people get a little OCD because they take a cup and they use it for a klisheni. And when they want to use it a second time for the klisheni, they're worried that there's a little bit of cold water here, and now there's Ida Miklidishin and on that drop of water. So people are very worried. But if you learn like Rashi, if you learn like Rashi, ma baya, that the bottom is the chzoinen, is the tato agova. So it's tato agova. What are you worried about? You're allowed to put Ida Miklidishin if the bottom is tzoinen. So Rashi can help us out on that problem. I'm not saying right away that loch is like Rashi. So we're learning now the Gemara.
It's a hot metal cup or a glass cup would hold contain the heat longer. A paper cup wouldn't hold it now.
Okay. Divrei Beshama. V'sil loimrim. V'sil zog. Vein chamen l'tatzon vein tzon l'tachamen. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Rashi says, why does V'sil say do whatever you want? But one second, let's do another few words. It's only by a kois, which is l'shtia. L'chamen, which is l'rechitza. We say chamen l'tachzoinen. If the bottom is tzoinen gewaldig, let's start Rashi. Rashi says, because the l'shtika boiluhu, v'laneichel asher chumaharba, v'oid the klisheni hu. The v'oid is not a second shot in Rashi. Rashi telling you there's two things going on over here. Number one, we're talking about a klisheni here. Let's talking about a klisheni. Talking about a klisheni. We're talking about a klisheni. And by a kois, which is l'shtia. By a kois, which is l'shtia. So we say that's fine. It makes a difference who's in the bottom. The bottom is the cold, the bottom is the hot. Oh, but Ambati. So because I'm sorry, forget it. Because I don't care who's in the bottom, but in Shani. But Ambati, I do care. There has to be that the bottom is tzoinen. If the bottom was common, it's also.
How much water are you putting into what's in the content of the bottle? Is that also a part of the equation?
It seems, according to Rashi, it doesn't seem like it makes a difference. It's funny. According to Rashi, it doesn't seem that way. Now, Toys is going to argue. Toys is going to say it makes a difference, the amount of water. But Rashi, it makes no difference. So if it's because, and it's a cliche, and I don't care the bottom is coming on tzoinen. But if it's abati, and it's a cliche, the bottom has got to be tzoinen in order to allow it. That's how I was saying before. If you learn like Rashi,
It might be that according to Rashi, eventually a little position will apply.
I hear. You could say, I'm being creative. I'm being creative. I didn't say a place like talk about it. The head here to say my what I just said. What's an ambati? A bathtub. Chazal were goizer that ambati, because usually when water is lerechitza, people make it super hot. They're a little more machen. Verstehe nicht. Right.
Drink of water 140.
I know.
I think I would say, I was shy, but I would suggest that they didn't have such control on temperature then, they didn't have knobs. Whatever pot they had, this big or an abati, they put wood under it, you have that much water.
Yeah,
heat
it's
it
down.
up, all that heat makes it.
They manage, exactly. That's the Metzias. That's the Metzias, exactly. That was the Metzias. So according to Rashi, at this point, this is what I was saying before. Sometimes people get a little bent out of shape. They're using the cup for a klisheni, and they're taking the water, the spout. They're using this klisheni, and they're putting from the klisheni, they're pouring it into the klishilishi. Then, but there's a little bit of water here.
Well, I'm always worried about
Hey, the day.
But if you learn like Rashi, so even if you're going to say that this is an ambati, that this is the din of ambati, but if the bottom is tzoinin, who cares? It's masha from Rashi that we don't look at proportion. The truth is, you're right. A person's going to say, nah, Rashi is gemein when there's a few drops of water on the bottom. But you have to remember that calling this an ambati is a chumrah to begin with. The Dav's gedenken. Because in the Gemara it sounds like the Chazal goes a little chitza, whatever, not mine l'shtia. Okay, but then come along poskim acharonim that said that maybe that our water that's so hot should have the chumrah of ambati. And now I want to be a little stretch. I want to be a little creative. If you're getting nervous and maybe you didn't get that one drop on the bottom, that was gefährlich. So if you call this an ambati, and the bottom is tzoinen, and you're putting a ram, so there's gefährlich. The sky didn't fall apart. I'm just saying it's more.
I think that even if the drops of soleil, but it's a
It's
little
not.
amount.
It's a little amount. Yeah. You didn't have intention.
And again, it's not, and it has no purpose.
It has no. Yeah. It's a. Yeah. Right. And it's not. And it's not there's no shir kedei lavashel, and it's not a bishul deiraisa anyway. At this point, we're saying exedus ambatis. It's derabon. We're dealing with the derabon. We're not dealing with the deiraisa. Agaburche. There seems to be a consensus in the Rishonim that according to the Yerushalmi, bishul minator is only alo eish. The Bavli is mashma. The bishul beklidishin is even after it goes off the eish. But once you're beyond that, lamazang bambati with there's a machma beklisheni. That's all a din derabono. So that's true what he's saying. A little drop. You're talking about din derabono and a drop of water that's aimed by shik de lavash.
Even if it's not Torah, I would say it's the same.
I'm adding a lot of things here. It's a drop, and it's the rabbonon. It's aimed by shik de lavash. It's not his kavonon. Okay, I'm adding now, but this thing that I said with Rashi is another angle. Okay.
Rabbi, when you make coffee on Shabbat, kosher, when you put the coffee, before the water or after the? Took the water.
No, look. I'm not suggesting you should do it in a klisheni. I'm suggesting you should make it in a klishlishi because it's much easier to do it in a klishlishi. You don't have to be Spitz Chabad to do only like the Alter Rebbe. You could because those that are, but I would say because someone asked the kasha at the end of last year, and I said we're going to wait till we learn this because I remember there was something, but because of Mecha, because of Ambati. It doesn't make a difference. The bottom line is it makes no difference. You could put the coffee and the sugar and then pour the klisheni on it, or the other way around. At this point, you're ready at klishlishi. If you're talking about a klisheni, if you make a klisheni, then
people make kosheni. Nobody will make kosheni.
I see everyone here does a klishlishi. I noticed everyone makes a klishlishi. So if you're doing a klisheni, so it depends. If you're using like essence, like tea essence, so if you want to go like Rashi, it's better to put the tzayin on the bottom. If you're putting coffee, sugar, or milk, the milk also maybe better to put on the bottom. If you're doing a klisheni, most people I see do a klishlishi, and if you're doing a coffee, so then faket, then put in the water, and then put the coffee and the sugar. Because otherwise, if you're going to put first the coffee and the sugar, you're having irui miklidishin on the sugar, which the Alter Rebbe says you're not allowed to do irui miklidishin on sugar. So if you're putting in a klisheni, so first, and you're putting liquid, some cold liquid, the liquid should go first. But if you're going to put sugar or coffee, okay, put the water first, then on top. But the best thing is, what? You're putting in a klisheni. Most people don't do it. I'm saying if you did it, so what's the big deal? So you put Ida Miklidishin on here, but Soinen is on the bottom. And if you hold like a Rashi, and whenever you have Soinen on the bottom, it's a Kendach Nishma Vashel Zain. Because Tato Agova. Seems like the Poiskim are more noita to Rashi anyway.
But ideally,
Shlu Klishlish again.
Is the Irui of Klisheni to Klishliski. That's
so that makes no difference. That makes MS no difference.
You should put the coffee and sugar in your Klishlishi. Do an Irui.
Oh, what's the difference? Line of Kimina.
They say the Irui between Klisheni and Shlishi is even more of a kula that takes away a problem than the water.
Either way is good. Well, why should it be a difference? Irim Miklisheni is only mavashful.
I don't know.
Irim Miklisheni is only
people doing that though.
No, I someone asked that, and I said I'd be mine because I remembered there was something with Hambati. The thing that was in the back of my mind is the Hambati.
You put together a hot cup of water, put chocolate syrup, that's in a cookie. Well, on top there'll be this and then there'll be low that will be cold.
A hot cup of water means a klisheni, and the syrup is the syrup is a liquid. So according to the Alter Rebbe, it's not a problem.
You see what we're seeing now. Actually, I have to understand that if you're going to put your coffee and your tea bag into the klisheni and then put hot water on it from the klisheni, you have a cover situation of
Yeah, you have. But you don't need it. But you don't need it.
Maybe someone wants to be much. Maybe that's from that.
You don't need it. The only time that either Miklisheni, is mavashal is by kal shebekalim. Kal shebekalim, which I would call kal shebekalim, means something that was never cooked before. Plus, it's like kul yisei sponim shadachos zugmar malachtam. So we say that the taka can say that either Miklisheni is mavashal, but otherwise anything else.
They flip or something.
That's either Miklidishin with mavashal kadei klipa. Okay, let's weiter in the Gemara. Zog the Gemara Reb Shimon ben Asya. The emphasis, you notice there's a little dalet here because the Shulchan Aruch paskins like Beis Hillel, and not like Reb Shimon ben Asya. They already shown him the paskin like Reb Shimon ben Asya. Reb Shimon ben Asya, oise. He said, nope, it's awesome. The Pashtus, it means that by Mbati it's always awesome.
We're worried that doing the cliche, you don't do the cliche, light color make the house hot. That's what we're worried
No. Because the people think it's a klidishin.
Well, what's the connection to the bot? Well, what will it have?
Because people think it's a klidishin, and the people are looking at you and they're seeing you putting stuff in the ambati. You don't realize it's a klisheni. You think it's a klidishin.
So we're worried that you do that when they make a cup of tea.
Yeah. Huh?
It's so hot. It's now my side.
There's a few from somebody showing mitzmashma azoi, not so clear. Zog the Gemara Reb Shimon ben Asya. Reb Shimon ben Asya says it's awesome, which Pashtus means that I don't care. It's always awesome. Reb Nachman loch Reb Shimon ben Asya. Reb Nachman said the loch is like Reb Shimon ben Asya. Okay, that's why somebody showed him whole taket because Reb Nachman said the loch Reb Shimon ben Asya. Zog the Gemara weiter some Reb Yosef Lameimar Sefel Orei Kambati. Sefel, if it's in a bucket, and ambati is the zobazach.
Sefel is a cup.
Rashi, it's like a bucket. Avagav, not a cup. Kois is a cup.
It's a shizzle.
A shisel. Avagav the klisheniu. Hoyel balav the shtiel l'rechitza. Asri the nechelu shichuma harba v'gazrinen. Because nechelu shichuma harba. That's what. Yeah, with the sefel. Sefel is like a shower, and ambati is a bathtub. So, what's the difference if this hot water was heated in order to take a shower or bathtub? But mine, that's l'rechitz says l'chumra. Abaye said, Tony Rebchia, sefel ain't battle. Rebchia said, no, it makes it, there's a big difference, sefel and ambati. You were thinking originally the sefel areu kambati, that sefel and nabati is the same thing. What's the difference if it's for a shower or for a bathtub? So the Omer of Nachman Allah Reb Shimon ben Asya, and Nachman said Allah Reb Shimon ben Asya, El b'Shabbos rechitza b'chamen like how are you ever going to wash with hot water? Because Rashi says a funny shaila in the Gemara. Rashi says bitmiyah the Reb Shimon afil chamel techzen also is a bezoi lemishkachas cham shulchem afil Erev Shabbos shlo yitzrich l'afker isichosen. V'im kein lo yirchatz afil panu yad v'ragla b'cham. It's a funny shaila a little bit. That the Metzias is the Gemara and them done the Metzias is that whenever people heat up water in order to bathe, they're always going to have to add later a little bit of coal. And your l'chol days you're allowed to wash panu yad v'ragla. And Reb Shimon ben Asya said that even b'klisheni, certain the Chacham said they're not allowed to do. So how are you ever going to wash panu b'yod v'raglo?
Cold water.
No. The chitza is even with warm water. Yeah, b'klishlishi. Tell him on Friday not to heat it up so much. I don't know. But Azoi the Gemara and them done. The Gemara frekt. So the Mishnah should have said something. No, I think it's the outs. Because Bestimi, you didn't say anything. Because I guess the Metzias was that most people added a little bit of water in the Sefel. And it's hot. What was the Metzias? They always added. And if you're telling me Sefel Areu Kambati and the Klisheni, I don't care, it's not allowed to do. So why is Lo Ishtamet Shemechet Matanoim to say, hey, but by the way, a very important Nakuta. That was Mistamed de Regilis, that everyone had a Sefel. And the Sefel was a Klisheni. And they used to a little bit wash their hands. That was a Metziyazah. And if you're telling me that Dina Kapati, if you're not allowed to do, so Emistak, if you tell people, Rabbi to make sure from Friday it's not so hot, or put it in a cliche, but why didn't Atana say it? Atana took it down. So that's what the Gemara asks. So do you think Reb Shimon was talking about the Seifa and he was telling you Adin about Maim Lerechitza Chumra? Nah, Reisha Koi. He was going on the Reisha. Basil Matirin. Basil said Ben Chamel Tatzayin Ben Tzanot Techamim is Mutter. If it's Lishtir, Reb Shimon Ben Asi Oyser Tzanot Techamim. That if it's Tzanot Techamim, it's also the Baris Cham, it's also. So Gemara Leim Reb Shimon Ben Asi Omer Reb Shammai. Are you crazy? The Shimon Ben Asad Gepaska like Bishama. We always say Bishama like Mitzvah in the Mishnah. So you might know Hachi Kama. This is a pshat. Like Nech Bishama B'Silul B'Davar Zeh. That the Bishama B'Silul never had a machloikis about this, and really B'Silul also held the Chumer like Bishama. That also my Lishtia that it depends if it's Soinel Lechem or Chamel Techzoinen. Most of the Shonim hold that Laboil, we don't paskin, even if we paskin like Shimon Manasya, Tosfos is going to say, but we don't hold like that the Shimon Manasya was arguing on the Reisha, rather if Shimon Manasya was arguing on the Sefer. Amar Huna Breder Bishua Chazin LeRove de Lakoped Amana. I saw that Rove there was not makbid to mixing water. It was all the same thing for him. Amona or Amaya. Amona means on the keli that holds the water. He had a brayse of a that said nice and kittel shamayim with a sefel shamayim. The sefel not necessarily means like the sefel before for the chitza. Because the context here is l'shtia. Kita shemayel techzefel shemayim ben chamel techzayin betzayin lechamim. That doesn't matter. It's not the chamel techzayin. Amalei b'hun Rabashi, b'hun said to Rabashi, dil mashayni awesome the mafsakeli. Maybe the Pchia was talking about that he didn't mix the water into each other. He put a klit shel tzayin in a klit shel chamin, or the other way around. And even though Zok the last Tosfos, we said before in Ambati that you're not allowed to put a pachar of shemen in the klidishim, but that's only in the klidishim. Maybe in the klisheni is different. Anyway, the Gemara no itmar marodem kitun shamayim tasefel shamayim bechamot tzayin betzenol techamin. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Chamot tzayin betzenol techamin. So lekula. Lakula. Because of the last few lines, the last few lines that really upsets the apple cart. So a lot of the Rishonim said, "Oh, Rava said, I don't care. You could put chametz chametz." So a lot of so the Rif and the Rosh, which the Shulchan Aruch the Rif and the Rosh said, never mind the whole. First of all, Reb Nachman said the halacha of Reb Shimon ben Manasseh, but you know what? The halacha is not like Reb Shimon ben Manasseh because it's all fadreit. Really, Reb Shimon ben Manasseh was giving you a chumrah areisha, but Rava said, and we always pass it like Rava. And Rava said, I don't care. You can mix tzonel techam and tzonel. Hastes, he passed against Reb Shimon. Even Reb Nachman said passed Reb Shimon. Rava said don't pass Reb Shimon. So we pass like Rava. So therefore, at the end of the day, we do like Hillel. We do like Hillel. The bottom line is that we do like, yeah, that if the word is l'rechitza, I don't care cham tzon tzon techam, and if it's from Bati, then I care cham tzon tzon techam. The thing is, the Toysus has a ganzen ananda mahalach what tzon techam cham tzon is. Toysus has a ganzen ananda mahalach. Toysus holds that tzon techam cham tzon means how much water it is, the kamos. Yeah. And it's the emphasis doesn't hold the Togova. It doesn't hold the Togova.
That would make more sense if you have a big vat of boiling hot water.
I know, but
water won't make a difference.
I know, but there's so many problems with Tosfos. Well, the main problem Tosfos says, what do you mean Tatogova? It's a machloikis. Big deal, it's a machloikis, but we know we pass in Tatogova. What's bothering you so much? And the whole shot of Tosfos is that the time is short. It's a game. Okay, listen. I'm glad we finished at least from Mishnah to Mishnah. We have the Mishnah, Meichem Shenua, a lot of water, a little water. Let's just summarize Rashi's Pshat. That we have Rashi's Pshat, that there's a lot of water and a little water. If you put a lot of water, probably even a Klidisha, doesn't matter. You put a lot of cold water, Tato Gavad, that's what somebody showing a mask. Tato Gavad only is when it hits it. But when it's water, they mix them very quickly, so nothing cooks. Because remember, we learned already the Toys that Klidishon's Mavashal Klishen is not Mavashal. And there's a middle share that what's Edom Klidishon. So some say Edom Klidishon is like a Klidishon. Some say Edom Klidishon is like a Klisheni. And some say Edom Klidishon is only Mavashal Kadei Klipa. And some say it's only Mavli or Mafut Kadei Klipa. And it seems that we go with the middle shita that Edom, like Abishav's Edom Klidishon is Mavashal Kadei Klipa. But when do we say that? When it hits a surface, but water gets mixed in. So again, Rashi Shita is in the Mishnah. That depends a lot of water, a little water, a lot of cold, and baya, because it all mixes in. The bottom line, it's cold. You didn't cook anything. Little water, oh, you have a problem. It's like a klidisha. And then a klisheni, if we should learn like Rashi and we should pass like Hillel. So if it's so we're talking with a klisheni. And we're saying if it's l'shti, I don't care, but if it's ambati, which is very hot water, which is l'rechitza, or maybe even very hot water, but l'shti. So we're machmir, and the bottom has to be tzayna. Okay, that's the bottom line. Bli neder, we're gonna learn at Tzemach Tzedek, which is Mesakim, the whole sugi, very gishmak, and also brings up this chumrah of the bismana, even if you drink it, but if it's very hot, you should treat it like ambati, that Tzemach Tzedek praises that svara. So we'll learn the Tzemach Tzedek, and but tomorrow we'll learn Mitzvah the Siman and the Alter Rebbe. We're holding it Siman Shin Yud Tes If Chof Chafalach from Beis from Gimel. We'll learn the halacha that comes out of this.
Very complicated.
Why it's easier here a little bit. Okay, the Alter Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek, and then you have a Tzemach Tzedek. Yeah. Yeah. Menachem Avinu Shebashamayim.
The seam is large now. So
Oh, we really should have had a scene.
it's on 7.
Peretz, we got to send out an email asking if people
It's
can
on
make
70 live right now.
Oh. Yeah, I'd like to make it live. Lined will try to make a seam every night. What's it called? Told me he has 2 CM at least. Pomeranz. Then we have to send out an email asking people for siyumim. Parrot, you have a siyum? Huh? You don't have a siyum?
Guys, hard, better fake that.
You always have a siyum. Huh? What was the last Masechta you learned with Daf Hayomi? Huh? You already made the siyum of Menachos? So we want to make it tonight? Not? Okay, you'll make it tomorrow night. You have a siyum?